requesting everyone just settle down. And we're ready to start. I apologize for the slight delay. You know how Mumbai traffic can be, and with all the infrastructure projects going on, getting in here is a bit of a tough job. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Indian Express Group, a warm welcome to the 5th edition of the Express Awards for Women Entrepreneurs, or as I like to call it, Express Awe, an initiative of Financial Express and FICCI Flow. On behalf of Financial Express, I'm Roshan Puvaya, and I'd like to extend a special welcome to the jury members and winners. And I'd also like to extend our gratitude to our partners, presenting partner Gravitas Foundation, co-presenting partners Maharashtra Industrial Development Corporation and World Trade Center, associate partners Runwal Realty, Gale India Limited, and Kamla Ankibai Kamandiram Govani Trust. Over to you, Malu.
Thank you, Roshan. And as the awards have matured over the years, so have the presenters. Both of us are not short-sighted anymore. We have a long vision. Good evening. I'm Malu Natarajan from FICCI Flow. The women we honor tonight are the ones who turned glass ceilings into skylights. They didn't wait for an invite to get to the table. They built their own table, their own room, and their own empire. There's a common theme in the leadership style of all these women. Simon Sinek explains this beautifully. He talks about two types of games, the finite and the infinite. In a finite game like football, the rules are fixed and the goal is to win. But in the infinite game, which is the game of business and leadership, the players change, the rules are fluid, and the goal is not to beat your competitor. The goal is to stay in the game, to outlast, and to build something that outlives you. We are here because we are playing the infinite game for women entrepreneurship in India. So tonight, we don't just celebrate winners, we celebrate the spirit of infinity game. So once again, welcome to the Express Award for Women Entrepreneurs, an initiative of Financial Express and FICCI Flow.
And as Malu mentioned, the awards will celebrate excellence and outstanding achievements by India's leading women entrepreneurs. So at the Financial Express, leadership has always believed that stories of enterprise and innovation deserve the spotlight. And the stories we celebrate tonight are very much in that spirit. So let's hear from someone who has played an important role in shaping business journalism in India. It's now my pleasure to invite Shamal Mazumdar, editor of the Financial Express, to share his introductory remarks. Shamal.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is my privilege to welcome all of you to the 5th edition of the Express Awards for Women Entrepreneurship, an FE and FICCI Flow initiative. Tonight is not just about recognizing business success. It is about celebrating courage, resilience, and the extraordinary journeys of women who are shaping India's entrepreneurial landscape. Entrepreneurship is rarely a straight road. It demands conviction when others are doubtful, resilience when setbacks arrive, and the courage to keep going when the outcome is uncertain. For many women entrepreneurs, the journey can be even more demanding, navigating barriers to capital, networks, and sometimes even the confidence of others that others place in their ideas. Yet, across India today, women are building companies, creating jobs, transforming industries, and redefining leadership. Their success does not necessarily come from background, privilege, or circumstances. It comes from the ability to convince people, investors, customers, partners, employees, that your idea matters and that your vision is worth believing in. And sometimes success can come from an even deeper place, the refusal to give up. Just a couple of days ago, I read a remarkable story from Kerala. This young girl, Athira Sugathan, a young woman who once dreamed of joining the civil services. But she met with a devastating accident as a teenager. The injury left her in a wheelchair and for 2 years wiped away her memories. Many would have assumed that her ambitions had ended there. But Athira chose to begin again. Slowly, patiently, she rebuilt her life and her confidence. This year, more than a decade after that accident, and after 2 unsuccessful attempts, Athira cleared the UPSC Civil Services examination with a rank of 483. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the extraordinary power of determination. The belief that setbacks, however severe, do not have to define the rest of our lives. In many ways, entrepreneurship demands that same spirit. Behind every successful enterprise lies a story of trial and error, persistence, and the willingness to start again when things do not work the first time. That is why recognizing these achievements matter. Awards like these tell young women across the country, whether in a small town, in a university campus, or in her first job, that entrepreneurship is not a distant dream, but a path they too can choose. I would also like to thank our distinguished jury members for the time and thought they have devoted to selecting this year's winners. To all the finalists and award winners here tonight, your achievements represent the very best of India's entrepreneurial spirit. This evening, we look forward to listen to your stories, celebrating your accomplishments, and recognizing the extraordinary impact you are making. Once again, thank you all for being here. Thank you.
Thank you, Shamalda, for those thoughtful remarks and for your continued support for this initiative.
To lead an organization of 13,000 powerhouses, you need a navigator who understands both tradition and cutting edge. That has been the strength of Ms. Poonam Sharma, the national president of FICCI Flow, who aims to move women from the sidelines of the economy to the very forefront of the intelligence era. We also have a number of past presidents and chairs from FICCI Flow today. I would like to invite Ms. Poonam Sharma to address us now.
Thank you, and a very good evening to all of you. Anant Goenka ji, thank you for forming this program and us being partnership with you, the jury members. Like you rightly said, that a lot of hard work must have gone into it and in the selection. Past presidents, Kiran ji and Ujjwala ji, Pooja Rambhan, the Flow chapter head, that's better, that's quite strong. Chapter chairperson this year, and all Flow members, Malu and, Manish, and all the distinguished guests who are here, and most importantly, awardees who've come from far and wide, and they are here today. So, whether we find motivation in the words of author Alice Walker, who said, I quote, "Look closely at the present you are constructing. It should look like the future you are dreaming." And also, India's growth story is often measured by GDP, by technology and global influence. But if we look closely, Most of it is powerful transformations that have been quietly led by women who refuse to wait for permission to lead. And awards usually celebrate milestones, but tonight we celebrate something far more powerful, which is the courage to imagine a life larger than the expectations placed upon us. And I want to take a minute off to talk about flow. But before that, I would like to say that across science labs, boardrooms, literature, engineering, gig workers, politics, pop culture, orange economy, advocacy, sports, arenas, women have continuously expanded the boundaries of what leadership and achievement look like. And it is precisely this achievement, this courage, this innovation and determination that we celebrate this evening in the 5th edition of the Awards for Women Entrepreneurs, Express AWE, an inspiring initiative by FICCI Flow in collaboration with the Financial Express. And we honor women not just in building successful enterprises, but also shaping the future that so many dream of. And it's truly an honor and pleasure to welcome you all tonight. And tonight is not merely about awards, it's recognition, it's visibility, it's validation, and all this is so important. So FICCI Flow, a little bit to those who don't know about this, we are 21 chapters and 4 Young Flow chapters across the country. FICCI Flow started in 1983 by a young few women, and some of our past presidents are here. So why I say I am the 42nd president is because I really want to emphasize on the work that 41 presidents before me have done to be able to come to the stage. And I am very grateful to you all for leading us forward. So I'm going to say it in very short term. So it's not the body of work, it's just the things that we do. It's a national platform rooted deeply in local realities. Across regions, we see how the 21 chapters will work. We have more than, now at least 15,000 Malu members, and all of them share a purpose, which is power to empower women, whether they are at the grassroots level, middle class level, or whether they are the upper echelons of society. So my mantra for this year has been leave no woman behind, whether they are entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, or homepreneurs, anybody, any woman, because we are 40%, 42% in the workforce. We need 70% women for Viksit Bharat 2047, and that is where we need to go. And so our initiatives in short is entrepreneurship, MSME, digital literacy, financial literacy, sustainability, and which is a circular economy, which is across all the spectrums that we work in, rural livelihoods, reviving traditional textiles and crafts, to advocating for women on corporate boards, and skill development in a large way, because if you're skilling or upskilling, which includes financial, digital literacy, traditional crafts, and building market linkages for women-led enterprises, and from international trade delegations, B2B meetings, B2C meetings. We have opened 2 more. We have one in Hyderabad and 2 more Flow women industrial parks, specifically for women. One is 50 acres we've acquired, and from the government, one is 30 acres. And I'm very proud to say that this year we have completed that work. Ujjwala ji here, who is sitting here, Ujjwala Singhania, was the main architect for it, and I'm so glad it happened in my year. And more are coming up soon. So these are some of the, I'd like to really tell you about how much impact we've made over lakhs and lakhs of women. If this year's figure is only taken, it should be about nearly 8 lakh people that we've impacted. But we are collating it till the last AGM that we have done. And over the years, we have really worked. So this is a short note because I know everybody is waiting for the awards. So today, India stands at a moment of historic transformation. And Viksit Bharat 2047 is what we are working towards it, because I believe economic empowerment will lead to social empowerment and vice versa. It's like the taraju, 2 sides of the same taraju. And we work on both these levels because they will take, especially at the grassroots level. So like I said, from villages to boardrooms to gig workers to rocket scientists, Flow brings the energy of thousands of women entrepreneurs, professionals, workers, and Financial Express brings the power of storytelling and the credibility of business journalism. And for years and for decades, Financial Express has shaped India's economic discourse and spotlighted the forces driving the nation together. It creates visibility for women who are building enterprises, generating employment, driving innovation, and shaping industries. And I said together, it's a great getting together and great coming together for these awards. I think it's just a perfect thing that the synergy that we have. And this year's cohort is equally exceptional because I have seen the jury and the awardees, and I'm very, very impressed. And we are deeply impressed to have an eminent jury whose insight and discernment and integrity ensure that the recognition bestowed tonight truly represents excellence. My sincere gratitude to the jury, members for their time and commitment, and I would also like to extend heartfelt thanks to Financial Express for being such an enthusiastic and committed partner in this journey. Your support ensures that stories of these extraordinary women reach audiences across the country and inspires next-gen women and next-gen leaders. So I always say aspirational India and inspirational India both need each other. This will inspire aspirational, and aspirational will get inspirational leaders. So to end, I would like to say the mark of an extraordinary life is not just what one achieves, but one becomes possible for others that life was lived. We need to tell our stories. So, so you were saying, talking about a story, it just came into my mind. I had not prepared for it. So, for example, an inspiration and an aspirational story. Julala, has anybody heard about it? No? So there is a story of a lady whose back had gone, and she went to one of the Ayurvedic institutes in the south, and she was getting her treatment done, and morning and evening was potli, massage, and shirodhara, or whatever. And in the afternoon, she used to be free. She used to just look out of her window, and the palm trees used to shed those long leaves that were there. So she remembered that her grandmother sometime used to tie them up in a certain way and make a broom. And she started collecting them in a free time and started tying them, remembering, and then she got it together. While this whole treatment, she had some few days and she was there. And then she decided to make these brooms eco-friendly and from the waste, otherwise the leaves are like just swept away and taken away and thrown away. And then she found a group of 20 blind women from a blind institute and taught them how to make these brooms. And she got beautiful woolen threads, wool, and she got them to, dyed them in such a way that when they made those in, it looked beautiful. Today, those brooms are being sold, I think, on Amazon, on everywhere, and they are so beautiful, and they're being sold for 700 rupees. Last that I saw last year, 700 rupees, and they're so beautiful that you can put them on the wall and decorate them. So one woman's inspiration has become so many women's aspiration because more blind women have joined and the money goes to them. This is one of the many, many stories. If I stand around here, I would be taking too much time. So back to my motivational lines. So achievement is often seen as reaching the top, but the ladies we honor tonight remind us that the real triumph lies in redefining what the top looks like. History rarely announces the moment it is being written. Yet tonight, looking at the women in this room, one realizes that many chapters of India's future are already sitting amongst us. All the best. Congratulations to all the awardees. May everybody else be inspired by you, and you are the stars of the evening. So thank you, all of you, and we meet again next year.
Thank you, Poonam. And with that, we move to the first set of the awards for the evening. But before we get to the awards, it gives us great pleasure to introduce you to the esteemed jury of the 2026 awards. Let's have a look at the jury AV.
The jury for Express Awards for Women Entrepreneurs. Deepak Parekh, Chairman, HDFC Asset Management Company Limited and former Chairman, HDFC Limited. Preeta Reddy, Executive Vice Chairperson, Apollo Hospitals. Zia Modi, Co-founder and Managing Partner, AZB and Partners. Anjali Bansal, Founder, Avana Capital. Mallika Srinivasan, Managing Director, Tractors and Farm Equipment Limited.
Okay, I'd now like to call on stage Mr. Anand Goenka, Executive Director of the Indian Express Group. I'd also like to invite Ms. Poonam Sharma, President FICCI Flow, and Ms. Ujjwala Singhania, as well as Ms. Kiran Gera from FICCI Flow to present the first award. The first category is the FICCI Flow Award for the Best Women Entrepreneur 2026. And it goes to Preeti Patel, Chairperson and MD of Raspian Enterprises Private Limited.
Ms. Preeti Patel, founder of Raspian Enterprises Private Limited, a trailblazer in India's defense manufacturing sector, a field traditionally dominated by men.
A big round of applause for Ms. Preeti Patel.
Patel's courage, vision, and commitment is breaking gender barriers and embodies the spirit of AWE Awards. So celebrating women who inspire, who innovate, and who lead with impact.
We have a question for you as well.
Congratulations, Preeti. Would you like to say a few words? Post that, I have a question for you.
Thank you. So I'm accepting this award on behalf of my entire team. I have them from Rajkot and Jamnagar here with me. And they are the girls that you can see over there. The first women gunsmiths of the country, I would say. I'm really, truly honored by Financial Express and FICCI Flow. Thank you so very much. Yeah. So I would like to share this award. All of us.
Women who make guns, ladies and gentlemen, you got to be really wary about them.
Yeah, one sec. I have a question for you. You built a business in the defense sector, traditionally a male-dominated industry. Mm-hmm. What helped you persist when the odds were not always in your favor?
Yeah, so I'm not going to lie, it's been tough as hell. But I'm here standing for all of us women, right? So security is extremely essential for us women. It's a survival matter for women. So security is, of course, gender agnostic. Technology is gender agnostic. So I'm here on behalf of women. And I want defense, security, and nation building to be equal responsibility of all of us women here.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And with that, I'd request Anand to stay back on stage. Thank you, Ms. Sharma, Ms. Gera, and Ms. Singhania. Thank you. I'd now like to invite on stage the chairman of the jury, Mr. Deepak Parekh, to join us for the next award presentation. And I'd also like to invite Ms. Zia Modi and Charu Patki of Runwal Realty on stage to present the next award. Yes. So the next category is lifestyle. And the winner is Neha Bansal, co-founder and key executive at Lenskart Solutions. Big round of applause for Neha, please.
Dear Neha, my warmest congratulations and best wishes for you for the Express Awards for Women Entrepreneurs in the area of Lifestyle Leader of the Year. You really deserve it with what you have done, both of you have done with Lenskart, and you have made accessible to a multitude of our people innovation, research, and accessibility to wear, glasses wherever they need it. It never happened before, and your model of reaching people, reaching the public, making it accessible is truly path-breaking, and I congratulate you for being such a great partner both in life and as a businesswoman with your husband, and both of you together have done India proud. Thank you and congratulations.
Amit Chaudhary will be collecting the award on behalf of Neha. Amit, please. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Amit. He is also one of the key people in Lenskart, and he's picking up the award on behalf of Neha. Amit, the word.
Thank you. I think finally somebody recognized Neha. Neha is our Neha is our co-founder, and I would say the heart of the company. The highest EQ, and she brings in all the love for everybody in the organization. I know the question, so I'll straight away answer it.
You made my life easier. Okay.
So, Neha really wanted to come this evening, but she is at the age of 17, like very similar to Athira. She got a spinal injury, and she is paralyzed down below and the left side of the body. And the infrastructure of India doesn't allow her to travel that much because it is very, very difficult. Like even if she would have come right now to this place, she wouldn't have been able to come up because she's on a wheelchair. What I have understood about Neha and what I've learned about Neha over the years, that we all got independence in 1947. But when Neha got her first electronic wheelchair and she was able to move from this place to that place, the first time I realized what freedom actually means, right? So, if there is one word, the question, I think it is limitless. Whatever you limit Neha with, she will be limitless and will do wonders. When we were starting the company, me and Piyush, and it is not her husband, it's her brother, Piyush, when we both were starting the business, we typical engineers want to spend all the money, but Neha joined in, brought in all the financial discipline, and that is the reason we exist, and we did our IPO a few months back. Today, whatever products we wear of Lenskart, there are almost 2 crore people in India who wear Lenskart products in 15 countries. Every product designed by her team. She heads the entire merchandising function, and you should see her. Like that lady with 300-400 people team, how she manages them. It is a mesmerizing way to just observe her, that how she does all of this. She is limitless. She is our love. She's everything what we are at Lenskart, and thank you for recognizing it.
Thank you, Amit. Okay, the next category is Legacy Entrepreneur. And the winner is Vinati Mutreja, Managing Director and CEO at Vinati Organics Limited. Can we have the AB, please?
Legacy entrepreneurship is not simply about inheriting a business. It is about reimagining for the future. And Vinati Saraf Mutreja's journey reflects exactly that. As Managing Director and CEO of Vinati Organics, she has transformed a family-founded chemicals company into a globally respected specialty chemicals manufacturer. When Vinati joined the business in 2006, the company was relatively small. Under her leadership, it has grown dramatically, expanding its product portfolio, strengthening manufacturing capabilities, and building a strong export-led global presence. She has positioned the company as a global leader in key chemical intermediates while keeping the business financially resilient and deeply rooted in manufacturing excellence. At the same time, she represents a new generation of legacy entrepreneurs. For the jury, Vinati represents the very essence of legacy entrepreneurship, honoring the past while boldly building the future.
May we have a big round of applause for Vinati Mutreja, please?
Congratulations, Vinati. I have a question for you. Yes, please. Sure.
Thank you very much, Financial Express and FICCI Flow, and especially this very, very esteemed jury panel. It's everyone who I deeply respect and admire, so it's really an honor to be chosen by you. Thank you.
Thank you. Vinati, you've taken the legacy business and made it globally competitive. What was harder, preserving the legacy or reinventing it?
You know, when I read this question and I was thinking, I don't see the two are mutually exclusive.
Okay.
To preserve legacy, you have to innovate, you have to reinvent. Change is key, change is survival.
Right.
So like in my business, in manufacturing, you have to keep adding new products, you have to keep optimizing processes and adopting new technologies. So you have to reinvent to maintain legacy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vinati. And thank you, Anand. Thank you, Zia. And thank you, Ms. Charu. Thank you, Mr. Parekh. Now, moving on to the next part of the evening, one of the most valuable parts, I would say, for this evening is the opportunity to hear directly from the distinguished jury. And these are leaders who have built institutions, shaped industries, and guided countless businesses, as well as been mentors to many people in this room. To bring that perspective together, we now move to a special panel discussion featuring our jury members. We are fortunate to have two exceptional moderators as well, guiding us through this conversation. For the panel discussion, I'd like to invite back on stage, I'm sorry for making you walk up and down again, Ms. Zia Modi, and we have Ms. Preeta Reddy, who's managed to make it here on time for the discussion, Ms. Malika Srinivasan, and Ms. Anjali Bansal. Can you please join us on stage? And I'd also like to welcome Deputy Managing Editor of the Financial Express, Shobna Subramanian, and Senior Deputy Editor of FinancialExpress.com, Mr. Kumar Sharma, who will be leading the discussion with our esteemed jury. Kumar and Shobna, over to you.
Shobna, it would be wrong for me to start a discussion here. Better you start it.
Good evening, everyone. It's wonderful that we have such a distinguished panel here today with us. Without much ado, we'll get to the panel discussion. Unfortunately, the economic environment today, we are in a bit of a spot with the oil shock. So it's not the happiest of times. But Preetha ma'am, if I could start with you, since you run a big business, how would you assess the environment today, and do you think that corporate profits would be badly hit and, growth would slow down? Just a general question on where you think the economy could be after this shock.
If I have to start with the question of profits, maybe I'm in the wrong business because, we're in the business of service. So the profits kind of come second to what we do. But I think accessibility for people to travel, that definitely is an issue and it has hurt people. For those in manufacturing, access to, materials for them to do what they have to do is a problem. And of course, we're all very worried about the accessibility for gas and LPG, and that affects not only businesses but the common people. So it is a difficult time. There's no going away from it. You can't couch it in any other language. But having said that, I think as a race, we're very resilient, and as a country, we're super resilient. So let's just hang in there, be innovative, and find ways to have better answers to do what we have to do.
Yeah, so Malika ma'am, if I could bring you in. So we were seeing a lot of, animal spirits being unleashed. The private sector was beginning to invest again, and we are seeing more than green shoots, I would say. Do you think, now availability of debt or, the reluctance to put in capital would set in now with, the uncertainty, or do you think that we will forge ahead?
So I am quite an optimist. And Zia's laughing because she really knows. she's often advised me on occasion to say, Malika, this won't happen. And I'll say, no, Zia, it will happen. And it did turn, and it happened. So I think I'm a born optimist. So that's one thing. But I also think, I'm not disagreeing, that these are stressful times. I think India is actually relatively better positioned than many other countries. We are somewhat insulated. We are secure. Our foreign policy has kept us in a pretty good position. And I think as we came through COVID, we learned as industry, we learned many lessons during COVID. We went from efficiency to balancing risk and resilience. And now we've learned that despite all our anticipation, there is something that we did not anticipate that also hits. So we are going now to the next level of resilience. It's unbelievable how quickly, in the last 10 days, we made so many of our plants not purely dependent on LPG. We've quickly brought the gas connection in. We've moved it to induction on the paint shops. We are doing a lot of work. So it's making us even more resilient. It's not that there won't be hiccups, but I think we will forge ahead.
Anjali, if I could come to you. So on the question of capital, there was availability. Bankers are willing to lend, and I think even promoters are willing to put in capital. But do you now see some hesitation or reluctance at all? Do you feel that we could be pushed back a little in terms of investment? Do you think lenders will be a little more hesitant?
I think the events of the last 2 weeks, and why just 2 weeks, the last year and a half or so, have shown that we are in a particularly volatile environment. So I have trader friends who tell me now all positions get closed on Friday. Nobody wants to leave an open position because who knows what will happen on the weekend for Monday. So we are in that kind of world right now. But I'll pick up on what both Preetha and Malika mentioned. I think as India, we are reasonably well positioned Because for one thing, our energy infrastructure, which this, with the foresight of this government, we have been investing the last decade in renewable. So about half, we don't have to import sunshine. And our grid, our energy grid is largely coal and renewables, which we don't have to import as much. So really our dependence on imported fossil fuel and oil for the most part, that is something we have to actually invest and innovate our way around. So while industry may be slower to invest, in fact, this is the time to lean in and invest. We have very, very healthy corporate balance sheets, the lowest leverage that we have seen in the last several decades. While foreign inflows have been sluggish, our domestic capital inflows are extremely robust. So that actually has kept our markets buoyant. That is what is feeding. I think there's work to be done on, for example, creating bond markets that are deeper. We are not as dependent on sort of regular credit or foreign credit for that matter. But I think in addition to investment, the focus on innovation is actually what we have to absolutely emphasize. There is no option. We cannot be a developed country. For us to achieve our goal of Viksit Bharat by 2047, go from 4 trillion to 10 trillion to 30 trillion, we cannot have 0.65% of corporate, of R&D spend per GDP, of which only a third is private sector. Private sector, abysmal spend on R&D. So we have to invest and innovate. So invest in innovation, I think, has to be the mantra.
Preetha ma'am, why is our spend on ROD so abysmally low?
If I may say, that 1/3 of the 0.65 is largely pharma and healthcare.
Ma'am, why is it so low?
Honestly, I wish it could be higher. And I think the more and more when the dependency has to be in-house and not external, you will see companies like us spending much more. But right now, most of our expense goes to either the material inputs, which you can't go away from, and for HR costs, because I think, those are the mainstay, and infrastructure. So there isn't that much left for R&D, but hopefully in the future it will.
Sure, ma'am. Yes, of course, ma'am.
Just to say that I think if you really want to build a sustainable business, a long-term sustainable business, you have to own your own IP. You've got to own your IP, you have to create your IP, you've got to build it slowly maybe, but I think gone is the era when you could have joint ventures and you could import technology and just produce in India. I think that era is way behind us. And really for a business going forward, you have to own your intellectual property.
Yes, absolutely.
I would want to touch upon the 2 letters of the English alphabet, which have engaged us a lot, AI. And after Anand did the meet with Sam Altman, Anjali would be knowing, actually, many were asking, do you specialize in AI? So my question essentially is, since Zia has been a little quiet so far, ma'am, before coming to this meet, I was looking at this book of yours, Landmark, the 10 Judgments That Changed India. Okay, I just looked at ChatGPT in terms of what it says on landmark judgment. It said pretty much similar kind of judgments. In today's environment, when so much that you built, which is a repository in the mind, to now, what kind of prompts are being used? What is the team size that we use? How much of AI are we telling to the investors? What would your advice be in terms of how to build competency in such areas?
You're asking me?
Yes. Yes.
So I have mixed feelings about AI as a 70-year-old. We have adopted Harvey in the firm, but it is, if it's not used wisely, it is not useful. And I think that the fear is to be over-dependent on something other than the human mind. And we don't know how long that machine will take to be trained to think a little more humanly than human beings do. So I think the age of AI is here to stay. You read about it every second page of the newspapers. But I still think it has a lot to go before you can say humans are not relevant, and the intelligence that the human mind brings, I don't think can be replicated. So I'm a half believer, if you like.
Yeah, even I think Sam Altman is a believer, where he did mention that human element is something which is missing. It was an important point.
Well, then he's smart.
Yeah. To Preeta, Malika ji and Anjali as well, this model itself, when we talk in terms of raising capital, many say that this is now an arbitrage model. And the cheaper you do in terms of research, the way you can actually have an assessment of the best judgments, that example. Has the model therefore changed for those women entrepreneurs who actually need to make presentations today?
I don't think investments or raising capital is gender specific at all. It's the business which you're in, and you have to just do it right, and you have to get it right. So that is the focus. That is important. And as Malika said, if you don't, you can't just live for an immediate capital infusion. You have to be convinced yourself that you're building a sustainable business, you're building a business for the future, and you have innovation and therefore growth and expansion. You can't do the same old way, and you have multiple ways of delivering on that promise. And I think that's when capital, you can infuse capital into it. So I don't think it's gender specific at all.
No, but the reason we say gender is because Vani Kola, for example, recently brought out a report where she said out of
every
100, just 4 rupees actually go to women.
Yeah.
And similarly, in fact, last year, in the number of startups, only 18% actually were women-founded startups. So there is traditionally there has been a gender element in it. It's no investment and capital is gender agnostic. What's your view, Malika ji and Anjali as well?
I think all the research does show that it's more difficult, and I'm aware of this report that you're referring to as well. Few others have been done to say that it's a bit more difficult for women to raise capital. And I think that's perhaps reflecting on that, maybe 1 or 2 reasons for this. One is that there are traditionally the assets that are required in order to pledge assets to raise money are not in the name of the women. So that is one reason perhaps, at least my own reflections. And the second reason is, and it's often a problem, is that there's a strong network that is involved with respect to lending and raising money.
Yes.
Now that network is not always available to the women, as we are multitasking, as you got stuff to do at home in the evenings, that network is lower, and there isn't a core group that is going to keep recommending and doing this. So I think there are a couple of reasons for that. Certainly, you can make a good presentation and you can get the capital, you can, but I think it's a bit more of an effort. And perhaps as more women we see coming into the workforce and we see more entrepreneurs, that balance will come.
Yeah, Anjali.
It's called that 4% is an improvement on previous years. Previous years, historically, share of organized venture capital going into women-led startups has been between 2.3 and 3.2%.
Yes.
So this 4% is an improvement. And a significant improvement, right? It's like, think about it, from 3.2 to 4.
80 bips.
Yes. So it's a 20-30% improvement. But the reality, yes, it is much, much, much harder for women to raise capital, equity or debt. Debt in the organized ecosystem, partly because traditionally women haven't had assets that they could call their own and pledge as collateral, but that's in the lending ecosystem. And I'm reminded of an anecdote, in my past life when I was chairman of a bank and we had these branches for women. I said, why do you need branches for women? They said, because when women go, whether it is urban, peri-urban women go to a branch and try and get a loan, they're just completely either ignored or treated very badly, and they are intimidated, so they don't even show up to get loans. Microfinance has proved that when you actually innovate on product and distribution channels, both distribution and service, you can get very, very strong lending portfolios, less than 2% portfolio at risk, right? So it's some of the most robust portfolios, 2% par, are women portfolios in microfinance, unsecured lending, very risky. Coming to equity and startups, I invest in deep tech, energy, manufacturing, biotech, advanced materials, robotics, drones, things like that. More than 30% of my portfolio is women founders, and they are not token. They are themselves PhDs, they are the innovators, they are the ones building, and they are equal owners in the business, AI including. And that's just because we don't have a affirmative action program for women. It's not like we are saying we are a women fund or anything like that. It's just that we don't have bias. We are not looking at a woman and saying, how will she build a business? We are looking at a product and a technology and a business model and saying, wow, what a kick-ass founder. He, she, it doesn't matter, they will build a business.
Shobna, your point. Now we know why it was Dena Bank.
No, I mean, so, how does this change? Because it's really a pity, and I think many of the women co-founders are there either because their husbands or their siblings, started the business. So it's actually a pity, apart from Falguni Nair, who really has done it all on her own. There are very few women players in this business, right?
There are more than we think and fewer than we like. But most of them are there on their own merit. It's not the brother-father model or husband model at all. And in fact, we are honoring so many of them today because they are doing it on their own merit. Even if, and Vinati has left the room, but I'm such a fan of what Vinati has achieved. She had a business, so she didn't start from zero, but she's built a phenomenal business which is very different from what she inherited. Neha Bansal has been an equal participant in that journey. Piyush has been, and I've known them since they started, right? So I think it is, we need to take away our bias. Funding part, I've been in conversations which are, frankly, as an observer, obnoxious when I see women founders pitching and VC ecosystem is a small one. We all know each other. They're all friends. And we ask the most ridiculous questions to women, saying, what does your husband think if you're a founder? What will you do when you have a child? We never ask men those questions. And Women's Day has just gone. And I wish we would do away with this work-life balance question for women on all panels forever. I think men want to spend more time with their children too.
Just curiosity, actually, if you were to actually start all over, let's say it's a mundane question, but just in the current context, when the AI is like, kind of filtered into a jargon, I mean, you talk, everybody says, Zomato, is it an AI company? Is it a tech company? Everyone has to have that tech tag. If you were to start afresh today, I mean, what would be your advice? Essentially, the reason for this panel discussion was to suggest a way out. I mean, your experience is something which is very important, and how you think, we should break through this. Some thoughts there will actually help.
AI is a foundational technology. It's a transformational technology like digital is. Today, we don't think about any business and say, is this a digital business or not? Digital is a horizontal. It is embedded across the enterprise. AI is like that.
So like, is it possible now, therefore, should they focus in terms of, having a leaner team, but need not have a tech head, but you can manage, you can do it much better. You have to have the, sitting at home, actually, you can work in terms of developing a product. There are ways in which actually one can build competitiveness, how one can approach entrepreneurship today in this environment. Does it erode or enable better outcomes? How would you approach it today? I'm just curious.
In our industry, it's actually been an asset because we don't have enough skilled manpower for a lot of the diagnostic work. And there it's really helped. It's helped with decision making, speed of decision making, whether it's in the ER or in the wards. I think it's become an assistant. It's got clinical pathways and it's a physician's assistant. Where we have to be cautious is that, I'm always saying this, that we need high tech. We need high tech in our lives, but we should never replace high tech with high touch. You know, there is the human mind, there is the human intelligence, there is the innovative feeling of a, you know, intuitive feeling of a doctor or anybody. And that cannot be replaced. So I think if we're able to really use this animal for the best outcomes, it would be the right thing to do. We should just never let it overtake our lives, because then we really lose the power of human intelligence.
Just to build on it a little bit, and to build on both the comments, I think independent of whichever industry, whichever sector we're working in, it's horizontal today. And all leaders, all entrepreneurs, I don't think there's a choice. And you have to understand, not just as a buzzword, and I'm in my daily job, I'm interviewing many, many people from different sectors, public and private, but it's used like a buzzword today. You have to, everyone's using the right word. But the question is, we need to understand how it impacts our business. Where does it help? Where does it hurt? In terms of risk mitigation, forecasting, newer opportunities, market segmentation. There are hundreds of ways in which you can use it, but I think we need to understand for our own business, and it's a must for all leaders, nothing to do with gender, but all leaders, and there's no exceptions. No exceptions for chairman, no exceptions for MDs, everyone. Everyone needs to, and I think that's the massive skill upgradation that is required across.
Actually, it presents a tremendous opportunity. Much like we saw productivity improvement when enterprises digitalized, we are starting already to see productivity, and I don't mean in terms of cost reduction, it's actually improvement in cycle times, throughputs. So let's say the new drug discovery cycle, what would have taken months is now taking weeks. We are already seeing advancements in materials. What AlphaFold has done with mapping proteins and the human genome. So I think a lot of, again, new invention will get sped up and accelerated. At the same time, it will be hugely disruptive for society, because our traditional sources of job creation and livelihood, you know, our farm sector has to get automated, so some jobs will go, manufacturing is getting automated, even software writing and code writing is now automated, increasingly so. So you have AI writing more AI. So I think there is work to be done for us as an industry and a society on figuring out what is the next set of skills for our young people. And certainly I agree with Malika. I think everybody needs to learn, if not how to write AI, at least how to use AI.
Shobna?
Yeah, no, so I'm just wondering, how do we prepare the next generation for this? You know, because you said everyone needs to learn. How do we need to reorient our courses in our colleges and educational institutions? I mean, are we already too late? How do we go about this, Preetha ma'am? Because we have STEM graduates, I mean, you know, we have many, but, you know, do we need further sort of, you know, courses, etc., to skill our people? Because like Anjali pointed out, now you have to be ready and prepared for this age.
So we're not late. You know, I'm sure it happens to Malika, I know it happens to me a lot, is we spend time with our grandchildren, and they know so much more about AI than we know. And it's not that it's in their school curriculum, it's just they've adapted to it very well, and they actually haven't let it overtake their lives. And sometimes I think we need to learn from them, because we are a generation at crossroads, but they've got it right. And so I don't think it's too late. Just like it's AI, it'll probably be something else. And then this will just become part of our lives. So I think we shouldn't overemphasize the fact that it's going to take us over.
Yeah, but Preetha, the reason I think what Shobna was asking actually is also important, because in your sector, I think the implications sector-wise has become very different for AI. Like in healthcare, for example, you know, how this distillation techniques, which I think, for example, OpenAI raised as a big issue for safety, which is what DeepSeek did. if distillation technique is used a lot, then will it impact interpretability of data? So you need competency and trained people to understand that. So in sector-specific problems will emerge. So in order to prepare that generation or their talent, which can be more tuned to these kind of changes which come with just not adoption of technology. So how can we actually ready them? I mean, maybe it's a longish question to a...
So let me try and answer that question, and I'll share with you what I think we are doing. What we are doing is
great.
just
Thanks.
saying,
That's
what we're really saying is, yes, everybody needs to know. The AI team, there are teams, centers of excellence that have been created that are working with user groups to understand the business case, the use cases, and develop the technology. There is also a whole parallel exercise saying you can't use AI until you clean your data. So we are at it, cleaning data across manufacturing, across quality, across R&D, getting everything. It's not just digitized, but we need to clean the data to get authentic results. So we are doing a parallel exercise over there. And to bring everybody up to speed, what we have attempted to do, at least at our gauge group, and anybody in the company can participate, is every other Saturday, we have an AI session. And it's voluntary, so-called, voluntary. We get 250, 300 people, and then we're putting pressure. I'm there every other Saturday. And everybody said, should we have it on Friday? And I said, no, we'll do it on Saturday outside of working hours. Let's do it on Saturday. So, and we have a huge turnout. And there is peer pressure, because you hear somebody saying, hey, I don't see you on those AI sessions. What are you talking about AI here? I don't think I saw you on the session last Saturday. And that's putting pressure, but I think the learning is fast. Because there's peer learning, we are doing physical training, hybrid model training, but opening them up to sessions with the finest brains in AI from around the world. So that's working. That's working, and I think we'll slowly see. What we're struggling with is all of these issues that people raised about how do you put boundaries? How do you put boundaries around its usage? How do you frame guidelines and saying this is appropriate usage, this is not appropriate usage? And I think that's what we're really struggling with.
Yeah. I'm done from my side. Sure.
Yeah. No, I think on that note, we'll wrap it up. Thank you very much, all of you. That was really insightful, because we need to be prepared today.
Yeah.
We'll do some reverse affirmative action here, because Mr. Parekh is sitting very quietly. I'll have to just get him to draw on one comment. I'll give you a question. Private capital, foreign markets is going into the bubble territory. So we're talking about raising capital, a little bit reflection on that. With AI, when you're thinking about raising capital, everybody asks that question, what is your moat? And the moat now seems to become more and more, how much capital can you raise?
I don't know.
So just a little reflection on, sorry, I'm putting you on the spot, but you know.
I agree, capital is scarce, but for good projects and for good people, you always get money. Like if you want money in the Indian Express Group, you could get money now. 20 years ago, you could not.
Yes. There is.
Thank you. Amit, you're on the spot also. You already know, Amit's a co-founder of Lenskart, and he's, as we all know, raised a lot of capital quite easily right now. So.
I think, as Sir mentioned, that if you are able to generate good value for consumers and the management is right, we are using the right set of technologies, like how we are also focusing on manufacturing. I personally believe that the next 15, 20 years of India will be a lot of manufacturing coming up. If the first principles are right, whether it is today, 20 years back, or 20 years later, capital will be available.
Okay, sorry. I needed to get these two guys in. Absolutely, Anand, no problem.
Thank
I think
you.
Malu also has another question. So.
I have a question to ask, nothing to do with what you've discussed so far, but we've got the best women on the platform, and I didn't want to miss the opportunity. It's a global cause for concern. So when we hear successful women speak, two themes often come up. You know, the importance of a supportive partner or a spouse, and the guilt of missing moments with children while building a career. The question is, are these pressures shaping how younger generations think about life choices? Many of the Gen Y or the millennials and the Gen Zs are delaying marriage or postponing children, some even opting for pets. With birth rates declining across much of the world, how do we address this demographic shift while still encouraging ambition and leadership amongst women?
Yeah, life has changed. And all youngsters, not just men or women, want a different trajectory from perhaps the ones that the generations before them had to undergo. Life is easier in the sense that, you have to fight less because talent is at such a premium and so transportable that if you are passionate and bright and intelligent, you can get away with a lot of things that, if you're talking about women couldn't get away with before. So, talking about access to finance, when I came back and got married, I needed to buy an office, and I had to phone Deepak Parekh for my first and last loan. And I said, I have something very, very serious and important to ask you. So he went quiet and he said, Such hai. So I said, I need a loan to buy my office, and it's a very large amount. And he said, Acha, what? So I said, it's very large, Deepak, very large. And he said, but Such hai, how much is it? So I said, 30 lakhs. So he went quiet on the phone. I think he was laughing. And he said, okay, we'll manage. So I said, okay, somebody will be in touch with me. He said, yes. I said, I have one precondition, only one, that you won't fine me a penalty for prepaying. He said, okay, don't worry. So then I started the loan, and the poor officer, who had been probably told by Deepak that she's a nut, he phoned me up and he said, Madam, one request, please don't discuss with Mr. Parekh. I said, what happened? Saying, when you're prepaying, don't pay 25,000 every time. Just pay 1 lakh if you can every time. So much paperwork. So, access to finance is difficult, not if you have Deepak. But I think that to the main question, is life different for this generation? It is. It will get even more different with Kumar's obsession with AI. But that's just how it is. And I think that the only thing you have to encourage your children and their children is to keep the passion and keep to want to excel. I think mediocrity is the worst sin that you can pass on.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much. I'd like to thank this jury panel. I mean, they've been amazing, and for the insights that they've provided. And of course, with so much of humor also thrown in. Thank you so much for keeping us entertained as well. Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, moving on. We just take a little bit of time while we clear the stage, and we move on to the next set of awards. We'll just wait for a quick group photograph as well. Come on.
How do you switch them?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, moving on to the next set of awards for the evening. I would like to request Mr. Anand Goenka Ms. Malika Srinivasan, Ms. Poonam Sharma, and Ms. Ujjwala Singhania to come on stage to present the award. All right. So the next category for the evening is health and wellness, and the award goes to Dr. Geeta Manjunath, founder, CEO, and CTO of Niramai Health Analytics.
Geeta, you have my warmest congratulations for winning on the Express Awards for Women Entrepreneurs in the category of health and wellness. I'm amazed at what you have done through Niramai Health Analytics, and this has truly been innovation and path-breaking both rolled into one. Thank you for doing what you do and for making accessible healthcare available to a large population of women, especially in the area of breast cancer. This truly sets India on the world map and makes us Atmanirbhar in multiple ways. I'm so thankful to you for even taking this path of making products like this within our country. Your deep research, your thought for innovation, your inputs for other women have been tremendous. Thank you and congratulations on behalf of the entire women in the country and of course from the Indian Express Group. I really wish you the very best. Congratulations and thank you.
May we have a big round of applause and invite Dr. Geeta Manjunath to come on stage to accept the award.
First of all, thank you very much for the recognition, and thank you, ma'am, for such kind words about what we have done as well. And again, this thanks goes to, of course, Financial Express and FICCI Flow. And a huge thanks goes to my team, which is out there in Bangalore. For those of you who don't know, we've developed this new method of detecting breast cancer, where no one sees or touches the person when she's not wearing clothes. Such a basic necessity of doing breast screening. Which, sorry, if you give me half a minute, I'll tell, because it's a lot of women. Breast cancer is very, very important because it is a top killer, and all of us need to take care of our breast health. Do regular monthly breast screening at home, and annual breast cancer test with mammography, or the technique which we have developed, it's called thermalytics, using AI-based simple thermal sensing to detect very minute variations in breast health, which may indicate abnormalities that need to be taken care of. Thank you so much for the opportunity
Thank you.
as well.
Thank you.
Yes? Oh, okay. Yeah. With technology reshaping healthcare, what do you think will always remain uniquely human in medicine?
Yeah, first and foremost, right, everyone, we were talking about AI on the panel as well. AI will not replace doctors. We can be very, very assured. But doctors using AI will probably replace doctors not using AI. And what humans and doctors do best is being humane, that is compassionate, giving that empathy, giving that care. And in a healthcare perspective, it is really about taking responsibility for the patient's care, right? It's not just enough to detect minute patterns, which we do well, but then the AI is not going to come when the person goes this way or that way, right? So essentially, I think that responsibility for the patient and care is very, very important, and it will remain with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause for Dr. Geeta Manjunath. Before we move on to the next category, I'd also like to invite the jury chair, Mr. Deepak Parekh, to join us on stage. So the next category is technology. And the winner is Jayashree Ulal, CEO and President of Arista Networks.
Jayashree Ulal's leadership has shaped the invisible infrastructure that powers the modern digital world. As CEO of Arista Networks, she has played a defining role in building one of the most influential companies in cloud networking technology that sits today at the heart of data centers, cloud platforms, and AI-driven computing. Since taking the helm in 2008, Jayashree has led Arista from a young startup to a publicly listed global technology leader, serving some of the world's largest cloud and enterprise companies. With more than 3 decades in Silicon Valley, including senior leadership roles at Cisco, where she led a multi-billion-dollar networking business, she has consistently been at the forefront of how the internet's infrastructure evolves. Under her leadership, Arista has helped drive the adoption of high-speed technologies that power modern data centers in the cloud economy. Jayashree's story is a powerful example of how technical depth, strategic clarity, the disciplined execution can come together to shape defining digital infrastructure of our time. Here's to Jayashree Ulal.
I request Mr. Mrinal Mathur, Country Manager, India and SAARC, Arista Network, to accept the award on her behalf.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Mrinal Mathur. I'm the country manager for Arista. First of all, thank you so much for nominating Jayashree for this. Apologies, she couldn't travel. She is based out of the HQ. And at the same time, we also have our flagship annual event that we do at Santa Clara, where all our global customers come. So there was no way she could travel, but she definitely has conveyed her deep gratitude to Financial, FICCI, and to all the esteemed juries. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrinal. And also thank you, Malika, Ms. Poonam and Ms. Ujwala. Thank you for... Mr. Parekh and Anand, please stay on stage. Yeah. For the next award, I request Anjali Bansal and Captain Batra, Vice Chairman, WTC Mumbai, to come on stage to present the next award. The next category is education and skill development, and the award goes to Priya Krishnan of Clay Prep Schools and Daycare.
When Priya Krishnan established Clay Schools, she embarked on a mission that addressed a much larger cause that has enabled women to seek a sustainable career through addressing the most felt need of a pan-India early learning quality daycare network in urban areas. New mothers in our country struggle to return to work, and Clay, a premium preschool platform, filled this gap with care that has assured mothers of quality care and education for their little ones. Priya has successfully built a network of 180 centers caring for over 16,000 children. Through a model that can be scaled to revolutionize women's participation in the workforce. Priya has also founded a not-for-profit school for marginalized children, which has been recognized for its approach to learning. In addition, Priya is the Chief Digital and Transformation Officer at Bright Horizons, and her initiatives in promoting, marketing, in partnerships and acquisitions, besides customer experience, all drive success at Bright Horizons. Priya, you are truly inspirational. Our hearty congratulations to you, today's winner in the Education and Skill Development category.
A big round of applause for Priya Krishnan as she comes on stage to accept the award. We were talking about husbands behind the scene. We have Priya's husband, Sanjay Krishnan, who is also in the audience and being a very supportive husband by recording this proceedings.
You already mentioned my supportive husband. I also have my mother in the audience here today. My mother, who's, created the foundation for what education can mean, has been a big inspiration in my life. And my husband, who has been this rock, because I call myself a reluctant entrepreneur. And our story is where he said, what is the downside of not doing this? Can you tell me everything that will ensure that you go and do this? And he worked towards it. So I really appreciate both of them being here while I'm being celebrated. And thank you, Financial Express and FICCI Flow, for the recognition for both, not just myself, but the space in general.
Yeah, a quick question, Priya. You build clay at the intersection of childcare and women returning to the workforce. If you could change one thing in the way India thinks about early childhood education, what would it be?
So I'd give you two statistics, right? One is that children's brains develop 90% before the age of 5. 90% of a child's brain develops before the age of 5. And India has 150 million children under the age of 5. So India sits on the largest demographic dividend in the world. We have the youngest population, and we have the youngest people in the world, and we don't have an education ministry. So if there was one thing I would volley for, it would be, we do have focus on education, but if we could focus on early childhood and formalize that space, I think it could be a really big unlock for the country. So here's wishing and here's continuing.
Thank you. Well said. Thanks, Priya.
Thank you, Priya. The next category for the evening is social impact. And the winner is Rohini Nilekani, chairperson of Rohini Nilekani Philanthropies.
The jury was absolutely delighted to have Rohini win the Social Impact Leader of the Year with her Argyam Foundation. Rohini has been at it single-mindedly in things related to water, just to make a difference to the lives around her and to scale as many people have not been able to do. She has partnered with so many NGOs and she has invested in water sanitation and everything to make life better from this point of view to the citizens of this country. Very well deserved, Rohini. Congratulations.
Her sister, Ms. Meera Dixit, is in the audience, and she'll accept the award on her behalf. And we also have a video message from Rohini.
Namaste. Thank you so much, Indian Express. Thank you, Anant Goenka. Thank you to the esteemed jury for selecting me for this award. I am so sorry I cannot be there with you in person. As you can see from the background, I was in a pre-committed journey that involved many people and I could not back out of it. It is my loss entirely. I thank my sister, Meera Dixit, for being there to receive the award on my behalf. And I'm going to say this without at all meaning to be trite, that an award like this can simply not happen without the kind of civil society organizations spread across the length and breadth of our country that are doing patient, committed, incessant work across all sectors to improve the lives of people and improve the equity of opportunity in India. So thank you really to Indian civil society for your innovation, for your moral leadership, and for continuing against all odds. I also want to thank my own team at RNP. whom I would not be able to do anything at all. Thank you, team. I would also like to say this is a great moment for women in philanthropy. All over the world, there has been a massive transfer of wealth to women, and women are using it to show the responsibility of wealth in society. Indian women in philanthropy are opening up new sectors, such as mental health. They are looking to support innovation on the ground. They are giving patient capital, risk capital, and much more. I'm very proud to be partners with many of them in this journey. And last but not least, I would say that as some Indians become extremely wealthy, in this moment for our country, when there are so many external headwinds, this is the time for Indians to reach deeper in their pockets, to widen their hearts, and to think much deeper about how we can create a society that we can all be proud to live in, where every Indian has equal opportunity to thrive. With that, I would say thank you once again to Indian Express. Have a great evening, everybody. Dhanyavad and namaste.
A quick question, Meera. You've known Rohini long before the world recognized her work in social impact. Looking back, was there something about her even then that hinted at the path that she would eventually take?
I would describe Rohini as a childhood crusader, actually, because even a stray dog on the street would lead to multiple discussions, much to the chagrin of my parents, of course. And anyone, actually, I will also say that she's an empath at heart. And that's the reason why she can scale up the work that she's doing. I'm indeed honored to accept the award on her behalf. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Meera. And thank you, Ms. Anjali Vansal and Captain Batra. And I'd request Anant and Mr. Parekh to stay back on stage. For the next award, I'd like to ask Mr. Pranav Gandhi from Kamala Trust to also join Mr. Parekh and Anant on stage. The next category is media. And the winner is Mariam Maman Matthew, Chief Executive Officer of Manorama Online.
Mariam Maman Matthew stands out as a leader who represents the evolution of the Indian media in the truest sense. As CEO of Manorama Online, her leadership style is distinct and she carries forward an outstanding media legacy of over a century old, and yet has shaped it with a distinctly modern vision and transition to the online platform. A leader who embraces change and stays ahead of the curve has navigated the transition from traditional print to a diversified multimedia platform, embracing digital innovation, strengthening regional journalism, and ensuring a lasting legacy. Malayalam Manorama is not just a newspaper group. It is a deeply trusted institution in Kerala and amongst the global Malayali community. Sustaining that trust in an era of digital disruption, information overload, and the rise of social media reflects the uniqueness of this media house. Responsible, trusted journalism that cuts across generations has become Mariam's trademark. A leader that walks a fine balance between a global outlook and deep local nuances. She is also a model example of next generation leadership and stewardship. Mariam, you truly embody continuity and change in equal measure. Congratulations to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Mariam Maman Matthew.
Okay, is it on?
All right, first of all, I want to thank my dear friend Anant. Also, thank you, FICCI, Flow, and Financial Express. It's very important for all of us to show up, to share, and create space. And so for that, thank you so much. This award is really for our team. And this team I'm very proud of, especially the team of Manorama Online, is more than 50% women, with our 50% of our revenues generated by very strong women. So I'm very proud of this team. So thank you so much. I really have, there's so many things to say about, a team which is all about women, and a team which is all about creating legacies. And media world, is completely disrupted today. But as we heard in the discussions, AI is a very important part of this world, but also it underlies the most important part of journalism. I'm answering your question already. Very important part of journalism, which is going back to the basics of truth, of credibility. And like you said, there is an information barrage out there, and this is where we stand to stand up and hold the truth, so that we can tell our readers the truth and do service to our sources and respect our sources. And that is what is important for us. So Malayalam Manorama, especially for us, it's journalism with a human touch, and that is what is where we stand. Thank you.
Thank you. Well said. Congratulations.
Thank you. The next category for the evening is finance. And the winner is Ruchi Kalra, co-founder of Oxiso Financial Services.
Some entrepreneurial stories stand out not just for their scale, but for the clarity of vision behind them. And Ruchi Kalra's is one of those stories. Ruchi has built not one, but two businesses at the intersection of commerce and finance, solving one of the most persistent challenges for Indian SMEs: access to markets and access to capital. Through Off Business, she helped create a technology-led platform that transformed how small and medium enterprises procure industrial supplies and grow their businesses. And with Oxiso, she went one step further, building a fintech platform designed to provide structured, data-driven financing to these same enterprises. Today, those companies have scaled into 2 unicorns while enabling thousands of SMEs across India to grow, compete, and access capital more efficiently. For the jury, Ruchi represents a powerful example of leadership in finance, entrepreneurial leadership, where bold vision is grounded in real economic impact. She's a standout leader and an inspiration for many who will follow.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Ms. Ruchi Kalra.
Thank you so much, especially receiving it from you, sir, means a lot. Thanks for the kind words. I think any institution is actually created by a lot of like-minded people coming together and going beyond the call of their duties. So this is to all people in Oxiso as well as Off Business who think like an entrepreneur and contribute like an entrepreneur. And always, there is one statement that we always say in our company, which is company first. So company is beyond any individual for us, beyond me, beyond any other founders. And thank you to all the entrepreneurs in Oxiso and Off Business. And thank you so much. I think the mention of the Women's Day, so this time the theme was very interesting, which was give to gain. Yeah. As I take this award, I like to promise that at least inspire many other women and support them to make them worthy of many such platforms. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations, Ruchi. I still have a question for you. You build fintech platforms that empower thousands of small businesses. What do you think is the biggest misconception people still have about Indian entrepreneurs outside the big cities?
So while growing up, I'm a science student and an engineer. We always thought, okay, engineer, doctor, those were the kind of professions. Business always never was talked about in school, right? And suddenly, always business was associated with this word lala, small shop, right? But when you go out there in the world and you see India is actually a land of entrepreneurs. And this word entrepreneurship, which has been a fashion in the last 5-6 years, suddenly has given a lot of sexiness to the word business. So now an SME you go and meet is also an entrepreneur. And we also heard Anjali talk about FICCI Bharat, right? The core of actual job creation comes from supporting these SMEs in India. And that's what can lead to a FICCI Bharat. People think that these are small entities, but honestly, there is so much hunger out there. They want to grow, and there's so many government policies and subsidies and interest rate benefits, and especially a very, very focus area for banks as well as NBFCs, which is actually enabling them. And trust me, I've met so many of them. They are professional to the core. They understand the supply chains like anything. They'll sit there for every last penny and cost saving. And many of the entrepreneurs, especially our Indian entrepreneurs, because that was the question, are out there not just to prove themselves, but actually build great enterprises which last beyond them. So thank you so much.
Thank you. It's very insightful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Gandhi, for joining us. Mr. Parekh and Anand, please stay back on stage as we continue the awards ceremony. The next category is entertainment. And the winner is Guneet Monga Kapoor, who's an Academy Award and a winning producer.
Congratulations, Guneet, for winning the Entertainment Leader of the Year. The jury felt that it couldn't be more deserved. Your Shikya Entertainment has really made India visible on the map. And Elephant Whisperers, which was the Oscar documentary short winner, is really applauded by all even till today. Thank you for doing India proud and attending all the film festivals and making sure that our country is on the map with the quality and the content that you continue to deliver, and may it go on for many, many more decades. Congratulations again.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Guneet Monga Kapoor. I'm sure you've all seen some of her work, Gangs of Wasseypur, Elephant Whisperers, The Lunchbox, to name a few.
Financial Express, Indian Express, Anand, thank you, sir. Thank you to the esteemed jury for choosing me to represent entertainment. Being a completely self-made producer in Indian film industry has been quite a journey. So I really respect this honor. It means a lot to me and to my team at Sikha Entertainment. And thank you for recognizing my work.
Congratulations, Guneet, and a question to you. You've taken Indian stories to the Oscars and the global stage. What kind of story from India do you think the world still hasn't heard yet?
Sure. I think the world has not heard the stories we are not allowed to tell. I think we are very scared. But I have this deep feeling. I mean, okay, I'm in the entertainment business, but I'm also a producer. So I understand money, I understand content, and I understand the art because I sit right in the middle of that. And I do feel like a woman is going to do that. But I have data to back it for all of you. So be it Period, End of Sentence, or Elephant Whisperers, both directed by women, of course, produced by me, both won Oscars. Thank you. If you see All We Imagine Is Light by Payal Kapadia, if you see Boong by Lakshmi Priya Devi winning BAFTA, All We Imagine winning Cannes, both directed by women. And if you see stats, we make 2,500 films a year and less than 5% of them are directed by women. There is a clear gap and there is so much hunger. That led us to start Women in Film India, and we are in stepping stones of building a skill development arm. I would love to be mentored by people who have built this before, especially because there is zero institutional support in our industry, and it's time to build that. And I feel that it's going to be women who are going to continuously break the glass ceiling, and there's a lot of very recent examples to prove that. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Puneet. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the last award of the evening, but the best award of the evening, I'd like to invite all the jury members. Ms. Anjali Bansal, can you come up on stage? Malika Srinivasan, if you can come up. And Ms. Poonam Sharma, if you can come up as well. So the final category for this evening is the Lifetime Achievement Award. Now the unanimous choice for this year is Ms. Zia Modi, a person who's been very closely associated with the Financial Express and FICCI Flow for the entire journey.
Journey as a junior counsel in the male-dominated courtrooms of Mumbai in the 1980s, Zia Modi is today one of India's most highly regarded and most respected corporate lawyer. Daughter of Soli Sohrabji, India's iconic constitutional expert, former Attorney General of India, and Zena Sohrabji, Zia's mother and her constant source of encouragement. Zia, backed by an ever-supportive and loving family, has come a long way with AZB and partners. Co-founding it with Ajay Behel and Behram Vakil and making it a leading law firm of India that has a unique distinction of over 35% women partners today and a total office strength of around 800. Ladies and gentlemen, join us in congratulating Zia on this inspiring journey and the Lifetime Achievement Award.
A big round of applause for Zia. Oh wow, we're getting a standing ovation as well. Thank you. We also have Zia's family in the audience, Zia's mother, Zia's brother, they're all in the audience as well.
I've known Zia for several years, and I recall our earlier conversation when she was just starting out her entrepreneurial journey. This was before AZB, sometimes in the mid-80s. Even back then, she had a promising spark in her eyes, and she worked on regulatory changes during the liberalization time. Today, Zia stands as a formidable figure, having helped shape much of the regulatory landscape of corporate India, be it in private equity or M&A transactions or regulatory issues. Zia has always been the clear voice of reason, and she unhesitatingly calls a spade a spade. Yet, no one can dispute her counsel that is always marked by clarity, rigor, and wisdom. She brings in a sense of confidence and trust with all her clients. That level of integrity is hard to come by, especially at the time of doing the HDFC Limited HDFC Bank merger, which arguably was one of the most complex deals in the Indian financial sector. It was her guidance, her intellectual strength, and her professionalism that gave me a lot of comfort. She is an inspiration for many young legal professionals. Clearly, she has built AZB into a leading institution grounded in professionalism and high ethical standards. Congratulations, Zia. Celebrate your achievements. We thank you for your contribution and look forward to your continued guidance.
We also have a sketch which has been made by Shyam Kumar Prasad, who is the chief illustrator at Financial Express.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Zia, a huge fan. When you look back on your extraordinary journey, what is the one decision you made early in your career that shaped everything that followed?
I think I will call my mother up on stage. She made the decisions. And my partner, Behram, who has sat through the whole evening to come forward and clap for me.
Can we have a round of applause, please?
And my brother, Hormuz, who has come to a function which has nothing to do with cars. But really, I think that, you know, what makes somebody somebody, I think it is this 91-year-old woman who started a rally on Women's Day with my youngest brother, Hormuz, and drove from Delhi to Bombay in a car.
A road trip.
And I kept telling her not to go, and she said, no, I want to go. Then I complained to my brother. He said, but she wants to go. So I forced her to come today because she was honestly a little tired. She just came back day before yesterday. But to all of us, you know, whether we're men or women, what shapes us? One is our belief in God. And I'm a Baha'i by religion, and our 10 commandments is that men and women are equal. My mother, who's also Baha'i, saw that my equality was more than equal, as my poor brothers kept saying. They kept saying, we're supposed to be equal. We're not supposed to be unequal. But I think that, you know, I always tell people I fear God, and then I fear my mother. So, to my beloved partner who you saw, I think that AZB is nothing without the B. And I think that we have never had a moment of anything but complete trust all these years. God has been kind. Thank you. And to my youngest brother, who's had the best time in our family by doing exactly what he wants, enjoying every day, not having to be asked, did you come first, did you come second, didn't matter. He was to be India's wicket keeper. And so, you know, this lifetime is a lifetime. And I was telling my mother these over-the-hill awards are, I don't know, to be happy about or not happy about. But thank you, everybody. It's a great achievement. Thank you to the Express, FICCI Flow, my jury members. Thank you, Deepak. Deepak has been my mentor. Thank you.
A huge round of applause for all our winners, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, thank you so much. We'll just call you back in a second for the group photograph.
Yeah. Tonight we celebrated those who dared to build, and more importantly, we have celebrated the courage to start, the resilience to persist, and the vision to build. Because when women build businesses, they don't just create companies, they create possibilities and play the infinite game.
Right, and on that note, we come to the end of today's proceedings. But before that, we want a group photograph with all the winners. So I'd like to invite all our winners as well as our jury members back on stage. Mr. Anand, also can I have Mr. Shamal Mazumdar on stage, Ms. Poonam Sharma, Zia, of course, Ms. Malika Srinivasan, I think, has left, but Ms. Anjali Bansal, Ms. Patki, Ms. Ujwala Singhania. Can we have you all on stage, please, for a group photograph, as well as all our winners.
Come, let's go and stand.
Thank you everyone. Congratulations again to all the winners. And as we draw to an end, I would like to once again acknowledge our partners for this evening. I'd like to extend our gratitude to our presenting partner, Gravitas Foundation, co-presenting partners, Maharashtra Industrial Development Corporation, World Trade Center Mumbai, associate partners, Runwal Realty, Gale India Limited, Kamala Ankibai Gamandiram Govani Trust, and all the audience over here for being such a wonderful audience today. Thank you, and thank you, Malia, for co-hosting this with me. Please join us for cocktails, dinner, and a lot of conversation after this.